Hey everyone, hey, it's Bryant Dillon coming to you from Comic-Con 2022. Fanbase Press has been doing a lot of great interviews, and we've got someone from the Alien franchise to talk to. This is Clara Čarija, and we are going to talk to you about Aliens Infernos Fall, which you happen to be an author on this story.
A co-author.
A co-author. I guess I want to start with just a little bit about you, Clara, because I've known you for a while, only through social media, part of these Alien fan groups.
Yeah.
But you are known as an expert of all things Xenomorph. So could you just talk to us a little bit about your background and how it led you to this point where, I mean, you're not only an Alien fan, you're now actually stepping into part of the creative side of the Alien franchise.
So I guess I've got this type of hyperfixation on things that I'm interested in, and after watching Alien Covenant, it kind of reignited my interest in the Alien series. So I had an interest in it before, but I always perceived my brother having the bigger interest because he bought the box sets, that Japanese DVD one, and I just didn't do that stuff. But I really love to think about things, and I guess having watched Covenant, I just tried to reason why it turned out the way it did, because it went against everything that I felt was Alien. But the closer I looked at it and the more that I did research into the original concepts, I could see that it was actually probably closer to the original concepts that Ron Cobb and Dan O'Bannon and Ron Shusett and Carlo Rambaldi, all those involved in the original conception of Alien, were kind of honored in the new version. So I know a lot of people don't agree with that. It's a bit of a maligned position to take. Sure. It is by far my favorite film.
It's not anything uncommon, I would say, in the Alien fandom to have fans who to have controversial films and to have fans who love those films.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of silly to get angry at what someone enjoys.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we can all feel differently about these things, of course. And one of the cool things that, especially from the amazing cover you have on Infernos Fall.
Yeah, how amazing is that?
It's crazy. We've got Neomorphs, we've got Marines firing. I mean, there's I think there's derelict spacecraft.
The derelict is there. I was really impressed. We had concepts for the cover, but Titan really knocked it out of the park with this one.
Very much so. It looks really, really attractive and exciting. But what I was going to say is one thing that's immediately obvious is this is a blend of the Alien mythology from the original trilogy and obviously elements from the new movies that Ridley Scott did, Prometheus, Covenant. Can you just tell us a little bit about the premise of this story and what you wanted to bring in from those two sides, I guess, of the Alien mythology?
So taking from what the RPG had established, Andrew Gasker having bombed Canberra, we wanted to kind of flesh out the story of what would happen to all of the Australians and the New Zealanders that would get displaced by a catastrophic event like that. So you'd have Canberra nuked, you would have the nuclear cloud migrating across the globe as it turns, also affecting New Zealand. We would see crops dying, we would see food scarcity. People would get driven to space, and ironically they would probably end up endangering themselves into big giant contracts. So there is a little spoiler, and it's not much of a spoiler. You'll see the Juteau Combine, which we earlier had heard about in Alien Covenant Origins. So what fans are going to see, at least people who've read or experienced different parts of Alien, is that they'll read this book and they'll go, oh, I know that from Dead Orbit, or I know that from Alien Prototype. But you don't actually have to read any of those books to enjoy the story. People have read this, and people who had early copies have messaged me to say that this is the most exciting, different Alien book that they've ever experienced, and it feels really good to read, and it's really character driven, and that's thanks to Pip, because she is just an amazingly talented author. It was just such an honor to work under her and kind of like learn a lot myself, because like I've never done like long form writing. I've done like blogs and stuff and articles, but nothing as intense as writing a really long series. And she's an award-winning author. She's just done amazingly with creating her own stuff. But yeah, when she got a hold of Alien, like so far the reception is the fans are floored. So
Oh, excellent. Well, one other exciting thing, and this is, I find this kind of amazing. I mean, we've had, Dark Horse Comics used to make a ton of, alien stories all the time. They've lost the license. It's gone to Marvel. We have a new storyline, a new continuity to a degree being formed. But you have a character that originated from the comics in here, Zola Hendrix.
I can actually confirm as well. I think I revealed it on the Alien panel, so
Okay.
I'll let you guys know. But it's actually Olivia Shipp on the cover with Zola Hendrix, and yes, they're shooting the neomorphs that sprung from the planet, and people have noticed that these neomorphs are not white, and indeed they are red, and there is a reason, but it's all in the book. I don't want to spoil it.
Sure.
But there is a scientific reason. I actually even consulted with a radiochemist.
Oh, really?
So we came up with like a theoretical element which appeared in the Prometheus viral content. So if you were really like looking excruciatingly at all the detail, you would know that there was an element that doesn't appear on our table, but appeared in this one. And I, just gave it a backstory.
Oh, excellent.
And it was something that, I think the fans would enjoy and speculate about. I'm looking forward to all the arguments that are going to spring from this. I apologize in advance.
Lots of comments in the comment section.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask, was there any pushback from taking a character from like a Dark Horse mythology and bringing them into this story? And also for people that don't know Zola Hendrix, is there anything important that you think they should know about that character going in?
Oh, I really loved the portrayal of Zola Hendrix in Defiance. She started off in the comics, and my friend actually urged me to read her because I actually hadn't read her before. Like, I had read her before, but it wasn't until after Covenant. So I read all the comics and I was like, wow, I really love this character. And it turns out the character artist lived in Melbourne, Tristan Jones, or T-Rex.
Yes, yeah.
And
Fantastic
he is
artist.
an amazing guy,
Yeah.
so talented, and it's amazing to have so many Australian alien creators as well. Like there's Scott Middlebrook, who helps with the Weyland-Yutani report and has done really amazing stuff. And I think he also created the original Alien map.
Okay.
Which I also helped with the Alien RPG map as well. So yeah, I'm just pitching in here and there wherever they want me to help out. Yeah.
No, it's very cool. And I knew that there was an RPG component to this story. I know that there's a sort of a bonus element.
So we didn't really have much to do with that part. That's Drew Gasker. I don't know whether you'd like to speak to him, but I said the things that were important that needed to be done, and I don't want to spoil it. So there is some important plans that needed to be evacuated for this thing to appear in Aliens Fireteam Elite. And it's just a really small little thing. We thought of a little thread that if you play, the Alien game and then you play the RPG, which by the way, you need a core book to play it, but you can buy the core book. It's beautiful. There's lots of really extended lore. A lot of it's not canon because it's canon breaking, but it's just fun to include a what if part. Yeah, I think Drew Gasker calls it barroom canon. Yeah, so
that's a good term for it.
Yeah, when people are sharing drunk stories over the bar, and they may be exaggerated, heard from a friend of a friend. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's a very exciting connection. Another thing that I would love to ask you about, at Fanbase Press, we're really like to examine stories in a different way. We have this thing we call the Stories Matter initiative that specifically is examining how stories work in human culture, and have worked that way since the beginning of time to help us pass on messages, learn more about ourselves, understand others.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Alien franchise, and I mean it can be your book specifically or as a whole, what do you think that these stories have to offer us beyond the simple entertainment factor?
I think it's a useful way to kind of hold the mirror up against what we decide to do as, a unified people or as individuals. the word that comes to mind is introspection. So like, yeah, I could like look at Alien in any aspect of my life, and like how it could play into the universe, and like what sort of choices would I make. Like, I think everyone's played or tried to play Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when you are in a situation where it's just like do or die, you're shitting yourself. You're not thinking like, oh, I know what happens next, and like saying that you're going to survive, because you just don't. It's just impossible. So, you know, what sort of person are you going to be driven to be when you're put in an extreme situation? And that actually happens a lot in Infernos Fall. We get to see two sides of the coin. For a lot of different people, we'll see the feature of the UPP, and we also see the feature of like a lot of Australians and New Zealanders as refugees in space. And like that's something is really interesting because of, you know, the consideration of how we treat our refugees, which I do not approve of. But we see like a culture where they try to utilize, you know, that endless stream of people, because people are always going to be on the move, as we've seen with the events of Ukraine, which also like really hit the heart of us while we were writing the book. But we wrote the foreword of the book before those events happened. But that in mind, we dedicated the book to people who are asylum seekers, people who are displaced people who are just trying to find a safe place to call home. That's something that me and Pip really, really believe in. So yeah, I think it's really important to like keep those different cultural differences and actually show them in the book. So you're going to be challenged a bit to read this book, but I believe that's important to kind of leave your cultural stamp. Like, I think some people have watched Prey just the other night.
So a few people got a sneak peek at it, you included.
Yeah, and like I can say, like they really do try to honor First Peoples and also leave that cultural stamp on that film, and it feels really natural and it feels good. And I hope that reading this book, you'll really grow to love the characters, you'll grow to love the different portrayals. You see some people, there's sword fighting in the background. That's very exciting.
There's always something going on at Comic-Con.
Sorry, like I've got ADHD, so I'm like squirrel.
I was the same way.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a really amazing book. Really strong female characters and male characters, and we kind of like look at servitude and the male gaze and indentureship and all of these sorts of things that have actually come up in our own recent discussions, especially as recent as Elon Musk saying that people should go into indentureship to go to space. And
right.
I see so many different problems with that. So like beware, you know, Peter Weyland was not the good guy.
It's very true. It's very true. And I appreciate that Infernos Fall is going to continue that tradition of reflecting our own world in many ways, especially a lot of the warnings or flaws in our own world.
Yeah, and it just plays on what Ridley has been discussing in the past, is like, can we take what we do now as a culture and as a human race together, take our flaws and bring them up into space? Will they survive, or would that be the end of us?
All right, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I want to wrap up with just really asking you if are there characters from this story, Infernos Fall, that you would like to revisit, and are there any things completely separate that you would like to explore in the Alienverse in a novel or some other form?
So in Infernos Fall, you'll actually see Zola Hendrix. I can reveal, like, yes, you will see Olivia as well. From Aliens Fireteam Elite and Alien Echo.
Okay.
And you'll also see the team of the Jackals, which happen to be the security team who graduated from Alien Prototype. So there's a bit of everything in here, but it's not necessarily needed to enjoy the book. And you're going to see different variations of the Xenomorph that are going to kind of challenge you. I think people are going to say it's going to be a bit Kenner, but wouldn't it be cool if they bring out toys? I would be just like, it would just blow my mind.
It's a good chance. You never know.
I'm a collector, so like, please do that. Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Well, we're very much looking forward to it. When can people get a hold of this? You know, when is this novel being released?
It's actually, you can get the audiobook on the 26th of July, but I believe the book is coming out on the 9th of August just because of like some shipping delays, but people have been seeing it at Forbidden Planet, some Barnes & Nobles. I got my author copies quite early, so who knows, like people might be shipped their stuff quite soon. don't spoil the ending. And please go see Prey because it's a really cool movie. Yeah.
Excellent. And is there anywhere people should follow you online or look for your work?
You'll find me under Wolf Mother, that's WOLF, and then MUTHER, as in like Mother 6000 from Alien. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Clara, thank you so much for talking with me.
So great to see you, Brian. Can I give you a hug?
Yes, of course.
It's really great to be here in the States, and it's so much fun at San Diego Comic-Con.
Excellent. Well, we will have more videos like this one available at fanbasepress.com, so definitely check them out.